So I was looking for my tripod and I can't seem to find it. So sorry for the introduction. I'm just a real person. A real person. People do real things, and I'm always gonna be as authentic as I can. So I'm gonna put y'all right here. I just want to touch quickly on manifestation, because manifestation, you always see a lot about that, and I think people, and this is just from my experience, right? I'm gonna just get straight to it. I don't feel like manifestation is some whimsical, oh my God, if I just think it, if I just pray it, if I just do it, if I just hope and believe I'm gonna have something. No, I don't think that's what manifestation is, and I have proof because my life is proof. So with manifestation, for me, it's only, there's probably more factors, but my two main factors that I want to highlight are accountability and radical action. Let's start with accountability. So accountability for me is like a series of things. I was having a conversation a day or maybe a day or two ago, and accountability for me in this scenario is like, hey, you might need to apologize to people for wronging them. You might need to be like, hey, I'm the problem, and start working on yourself. You might need to close doors that you have open. You might need to reach out to people that you've been meaning to reach out to. You might need to start a project. You might need to finish a project. You might need to cut some people out. You might need to make a various amount of changes in your life that will ultimately release, right? And empty your cup, because we all have a capacity. Going into the hyperbolic time chamber, that's a DBZ reference, and fighting and training, it increases your capacity. So somebody might be able to take on 10 things at once because they've trained themselves to do that, while that same capacity for you might only be 3 things, right? So you just might need to free yourself up a little bit with accountability, taking responsibility for your actions and your decisions that have affected your life. You got to stop blaming people for everything, right? Sometimes situations come out and instead of, oh yeah, man, if this thing happened, I would have been here by now. No, if you didn't make the decision to put yourself in a situation to allow that to happen, you would be in wherever you want to be, right? And I had to come to terms with that years ago, and that has gotten me back. Like, think about it as if you go up a road, right, and it's the wrong road and you're at 80%. You now need to do an 80% worth of, you now need to implement 80% worth of actions to come back down the road, right, to get back to zero, to tread up the right road. It's a simple analogy, it's a simple metaphor that just makes sense in my head. But the main thing with accountability is, which a lot of people duck, like, and some people get on the journey of accountability, and they feel like they've been taking their actions into accounts, because that's actually what you're doing. That's the action of everything. You're taking your actions into account, right? You're being conscious of the decisions that you are or aren't making, right, before you move, which just brings us to intention. But that intention is a whole different thing. I just want to get to and I just like to simplify things. It doesn't need to be long and drawn out. It just needs to be straight and forward, so you can replay it or revisit it to grasp the idea. I just don't believe things need to be complicated. I think things should be dumbed down. Let me not say dumbed down, because that's negative connotation, but things can be simplified to small, consumable, and small digestible ideas. And the other part of that, well, not and, but next, I'm working on a lot of things myself with speech and communication, but next, I feel like radical action. You can't just pray your way through things. Prayer is the first step. Whomever you pray to, I don't care if you pray to Satan, right? You still have to, and I don't pray to Satan, just clarity. But I don't even find it wrong that people that do. That's just what they decide to do, right? But you got to have some type of action. You can't just pray and just hope and, oh, God is gonna put things in the right way for it to happen for me and XYZ. And yes, they are. God is definitely going to do that. right? But you have to do your part. And our part was given within the free will of things, right? And the free will of things means that if I want to get a job, I'm going to reach out to people. I'm going to apply. I'm going to put myself in networking situations. I'm going to position myself to get a job. If I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to move slower, move with more intention, make larger steps at a smaller pace, which ultimately speeds me up, right? It's not everything is not about just haste makes waste. It doesn't have to be a rat race mentality. You know what I'm saying? Going back to the entrepreneurship example, I'm going to make the right steps in the right direction, so I'm able to, again, going back to moving with intention. Like, I'm just taking the right action. I'm gonna, simple things, get my LLC, business loans, business credit. I'm going to get my product. I'm going to test my product. I'm going to QA my product, quality assessment my product, just to make sure that I like it before I release it. And I'm just doing things for money, because people can sense when you're doing things for money, and you're doing things for love, which ultimately gets you the money, because people can see that you actually love doing this, and they love to support people that are actually doing things that they love, because people want to do things that they love themselves. So if they see somebody else doing something that they love, they're going to end up supporting that, right? So you don't got to do nothing for money. You just got to do things that you love. Right now, there are things that you can do. There's exceptions to all rules. There are things you can do for money and just strictly for business, and you just see an opportunity and you go and take it and seize it. Cool, carpe diem, right? But again, radical action, just taking the necessary steps in the direction that you want to go, and not just wishing on a star. We got to get out of the habit of just wishing on a star, because that's not working clearly in your life. It's never worked in my life. I'm an action type of person. Sometimes you do need to be still and figure it out and breathe, and whoever allows and creates that space with you, because sometimes you need help to create that space where you don't have to be moving around and you have to be in survival mode. You need to give them the world